or commerce on the high seas.
Some say money makes the world go round. I say ships move the money that make the world move.
Who navigates those large international ships?
How often are international ships required to be surveyed and inspected?
Maritime also protects our seas and borders by way of our local Bahamas Defense Corps.
It is very sad to say that out of 1,500 plus ships that are registered under the Bahamian flag, only a very small amount of Bahamians are employed.
Maritime Matters.
A pleasant good evening to you, our valued listening audience. Welcome one. Welcome all. Welcome to Maritime Matters. I am your host, Captain Glenn Bain. Our producer for tonight's show is none other than Mr. Sensational himself, Craig Gibson. We're coming to you live via Love 97 FM. This is Tuesday, the 25th day of February 2025. And if it's a Tuesday, you know the deal. It's maritime tick, 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 matters. We encourage that if you're driving and tune in with us, please do so cautiously and ensure to take your time in getting wherever it is that you are trying to get safely. As the saying goes, drive to arrive alive. Our sponsors for tonight's show are 101 Pharmacy and also Island Care Pharmacy for all your medication needs. Check out my little cousin Shanti McBride and a lovely team at 101 Pharmacy in Nassau and Island Care Pharmacy in Freeport. Fill your prescription at the store or send your refills via the online site, oneonpharmacy.com. That's 101 Pharmacy, all lowercase, all one word, .com. The three locations are East Street South. And when you get in there, say hi to Joy. That's the pharmacists who know how to get them little bits and pieces together and organize things the way you would want it organized, eh? Charles Sanders Highway, and you know who in there. That's my little cuz. We call her Silla. Ansela Hepburn. Ansela, you run things up in there, girl. And of course, in downtown Freeport on Explorers Way, we got Island Care Pharmacy. Steph, that's my big cousin. And guess what? Yesterday was Steph's birthday. Steph, I tell you, how old is now? 20 what? Charles Steph older than me, so you know we be in order 60. Steph, happy birthday, belated. No, you ain't belated, because I tell you happy birthday already. Happy birthday on air. So if you all go over there to Island Care Pharmacy and you all see Steph, tell Steph she owe you all a drink and let her know Maritime Matters send you so you get a little something off that something. All right? And we're secondly sponsored by Bahamas Maritime Connection Limited. At BMC, we provide a full slate of ISPS maritime security services. And I say good night to my favorite Auntie May. That is Maritime Matters' favorite fan. Auntie May have been Freeport, 91 years old and going strong. I forget to ask Auntie May when her birthday coming up. Auntie May birthday, so I think it's March, you know. Boy, Auntie May, weeks away to 92. So we got to big up my Auntie May, and she continued to listen to Maritime Matters. She continued to tell me, oh yeah, when you talk about that minute, boy, that woman is something else. But, you know, we waiting for to start heading north of 100, and then we'll start saying, boy, Auntie May, we got to start saying farewell. Hey, now we know Auntie May look like she will go over 110. But Auntie May is going strong, You're listening to Maritime Matters, people. And on this show, we talk maritime. Maritime Matters as weekly at 17:05. What's 17:05? That's 5:05 p.m. Every Tuesday here on Love 97 FM. The purpose of our show is to highlight persons that made significant contributions to maritime in the Bahamas. We also cover current maritime issues from the domestic and the international matter. And tonight we can stick with domestic. I won't talk so much about what Mr. Trump is doing, because I know we got a lot of Republicans out there, we got a lot of Democrats out there, and you want to hear what they have to say, because boy, Mr. Trump, he doing some things, right? President Trump is rooting up the place. But we ain't talking about that tonight. We talking domestic. The phone number to call us, should you wish to get in on this discussion during the show, is 326-8255. Again, our phone number, if you want to be live on the show, is 326-8255. To hear a replay of this show, or any of our previous shows, simply hit us up at any time via our YouTube page. That's Maritime Matters Bahamas. That's 3 words. I love you. Maritime Matters Bahamas. Just go to your YouTube on your electronic device and type into the search box Maritime Matters Bahamas. You will see a litany of Maritime Matters shows since the time we started in over 2 years ago, eh? And you can just pick, choose, refuse, listen as you wish, listen as long as you want, switch to the next one, whatever you want to do. It's up to you. So, let's talk maritime. Tonight, we wish to take up the maritime-related issues dominating the headlines of late. Topics shall include the following. Out of the bag, right away. Number 1. Exuma Keys seabed lease and installation of commercial buoys. Now, if you've been listening to any radio anytime in the past couple of days, and social media too, you will hear a lot about how these people just spring up some buoys and land and sea park. Nobody knew nothing until they start saying these buoys. And they have the buoys for lease or for rent. If you want to use those buoys, you can pay, I think they say 50 cents a foot for whatever length your yacht is or your boat is. To use that buoy per day. Excuse me. Now, that's not very expensive. But, we got to talk about why moorings would be in a land and sea park to begin with. Is that a good idea? Or is that not so good an idea? But I can tell you from experience, that's a brilliant idea. Brilliant idea to have commercial buoys, not only in the land and sea park of our country, but in every harbor, everywhere in our country. We should have commercial buoys, and we also should take it one step further and have a no anchoring within harbors in the Bahamians. You can't tell ships to anchor nowhere. Because sometimes ships need to anchor because they're in waiting or they this or they that. And then you got areas where you would designate you can anchor here or you can anchor there. Places where a bunch of sand and reef to rip up and that type of thing. You tell them where they can anchor. You don't let ships come in your country and take charge. But what we need to do, first of all, is to designate no anchorages areas. And then, since they can't anchor, we'll put buoys there. So that now you could come and secure yourself or your vessel to this buoy. Because this buoy is not going to rip up the seabed. Because this buoy was put in a way that no matter what boat go on it and what the situation is, it is already secured to the seabed in a nice way. Or should I say, in a non-destructive way. Is that a better term? I know the big words like y'all people have been to university, but I'll just say it, a non-destructive. Is that a call, Mr. Producer? Calling you on Maritime Matters, hello? Not a call. Okay, wonderful. Glad you all able to stay with me that early. Okay, so we want to know what are the procedures surrounding lease of Crown seabed. First of all, my understanding is that this entity or this company had a couple thousand acres of seabed leased, right? When you lease seabed, that means nobody else could use that seabed that the government authorized you to pay for, because seabed lease ain't cheap. It ain't cheap. But there's still procedures to get a seabed lease because it belongs to the Crown, it belongs to all us. But we put the government in place to say, okay, now you can lease it out based on certain procedures. Give us some say. That's the bottom line, eh? Somebody got to be able to lease it out if we decide we wanted to lease out. Well, the procedures followed in this case. Now this entity that got the seabed lease and put down those moorings and start renting them out or had them for rent, did they follow the right procedures? That's going to be interesting. We now know that they didn't, right? We know that I think they got approval in principle. And that approval was based on them getting authorization or approval from the various government entities that have to vet this thing, review this thing, and say, we don't have a problem with that, you could go ahead. And it's more than one, just one entity. It's a couple of different entities. You got environmental issues, or what they call it, NEEP, or whatever that organization that deal with environmental impact. You got the port department that deals with docks and buoys and stuff like that throughout the country. You got lands and survey who deal with the bottom of the sea and the bottom of every land within the scope of our country, territorial waters, right? Excuse me again. Boy, we got some other questions like who should approve the applications to have commercial buoys installed, not only in the Exuma Sea Park, but anywhere in our country. Anywhere in our country. We have a system in place. We got laws in place. But now we got to bring up, how do one go about, if I, as a Bahamian, want to put down some buoys to rent, what do I need to do? You could ask yourself a couple of questions. If you, as a Bahamian, want to buy some jet skis to rent, what do you do? If you, as a Bahamian, want to buy some cars to rent, what do you do? There are procedures for all of these things. You can't just go buy a car and say, I rent out the car and don't have the requisite title or license or whatever you need, procedures to go through to get it. No, we don't work like that. But, of course, some people think they could work like that according to what we see in the press. Which entity should approve the applications to have commercial buoys installed? It depends too on where you want this commercial buoy installed. In Nassau, in the Family Island, in Grand Bahama. It's a whole heap of stuff going on here, you know. But in this case, we're talking about Exuma Sea Park. So who all should approve that application? You got to go to the local government in the Exuma Keys as well, you know. You can't just do your own thing. Now, I don't know. I know they're supposed to have port authority in all the designated port areas in the country. But you know, we're so lousy we don't. We have a port authority for New Providence, and that's it. We're supposed to have at least about 12 or 13 different port authorities in this country. And we ain't got no excuse. But the problem is that I think, let me draw that in there. I think the problem is the central government want to keep all the power. They don't even want to empower those family islands to have a port authority board to make decisions as to who is going to put buoys where, who we going to approve and things like that. And that way they can look out for the people in those communities, be it PLP, FNM, DNA, Coalition, no matter who it is. But at least they have some say, eh? Another question comes to mind. Who should be able to benefit from approved commercial buoy installations? Because obviously you can't just go put buoy in place and say you rent it out and only you benefiting. We don't have a problem with you benefiting if we had a fair system of selection and government didn't put a moratorium on buoys in a particular area. It should be open to all, and the procedure should be clear to all. And people should be able to protest if they feel like this one shouldn't get it. That's the way boards work. That's the way boards work, especially the Port Authority Board. It has to post for 2 weeks before the hearing of this application, so that anybody in the community who wish to attend that hearing for that application to be approved or not approved can state, I protest that. My reason is this person doesn't live in this community. My reason is that person is a criminal. My reason is this the case, that's the case. And that's how these things are supposed to work. I happen to know because I used to be the person assisting the Port Authority Board while I was Deputy Port Controller at the Port Department and dealing with licenses for boat captains and jet skis and mail boats and all the rest of those things. So ain't nobody can pull nothing on me who know what the law say about these things. And if you feel froggy, like you could tell me how to go, 326-8255. That's the number to call. Get me live on the show and let me know what you saying as far as me not putting it the way it's supposed to be, especially in dealing with things like Port Authority Board matters. Oh, that's my thing. Don't touch me there. I can tell you now. Please call. Again, 326-8255. Feel free to chime in. Now, you ain't going to chime in to contest what I say. You could also chime in to support what I say. Because all of us, every area, most areas in this country got boards that regulate how things are done. And all of them are basically operate the same kind of way. So this ain't no secret to most of you, right? Another question that comes up with the seabed lease is, what repercussions should be brought to those that violated the procedures and proceeded with installing the commercial buoys? I mean, at the end of the day, you ain't get no authority to do it, but you still go on and put those buoys in place and put a price on them. What is going to happen now with your application? You apply, you breach the protocol, and you go on ahead and do it anyhow. Should you now be able to do anything like that in this country anymore? Are you going to just get a spank on the wrist and get approval later on? Because the government say, you're going ahead, us, we don't catch you up now, we can still let you do it. Boy, look at this, could be something. I tell you, this could be something. I want some of y'all people out the Exuma Keys to give me a call and let me know your position on the situation. I've been hearing a lot of things and seeing a lot of things on social media, but this is the time now to call and let's discuss this thing online live. So everybody could chime in, eh? So that's Exuma Keys, seabed lease, and installation of commercial buoys. That is going to be the topic for the night. Along with, now all of y'all got social media, just like me. Y'all see these kayak care videos. Kayak mills out of Abaco is not easy. And I haven't seen one of those kayak care videos for so long. Until this weekend. Kai got a little teed off when he stumbled across a situation. He stumbled across a situation where our Prime Minister addressed a group of Haitian pastors at a conference in Abaco called the Abaco Haitian Pastors Association Conference. And he, our Prime Minister, according to our Kai Mills videos, was in that auditorium or that church for over 2 hours. And Brother Mills saying, not only was our Prime Minister in that Abaco Haitian Pastors Association conference for over 2 hours, our Prime Minister, as far as Kai Mills is concerned, my good friend, said our Prime Minister have not been in any church, that's Bahamian church now, in Abaco for even an hour since he's Prime Minister. So how, for the first time he come in Abaco to go in a church, he gone for 2 hours and in a church where there are a group of Haitians. I mean, that question is a question all of us should ponder on, eh? Should our Prime Minister officially be supporting such a gathering? 326-8255. Please call me, let me know what you think. Are we still issuing passports to non-Bahamians? Now, I saw with, I want to say my own two eyes, like we used to say when we were small. You say, I see that with my own two eyes, you know. But I saw and held a passport that said Bahamas passport. And when you open it, you see this person name and it have on the nationality Haitian. And I was like, how could a Haitian saying that this person is a Haitian hold a Bahamas passport? If this person is a Haitian, shouldn't they be holding a Haitian passport instead of a Bahamian passport? And then somebody, oh, well, that might just be a travel document should not say passport. Because we got all kind of people in the States, right? We know we got family over there. Some get green card, some get other color card, but they ain't get no citizenship. But none of them have something that says United States passport and inside there, Bahamian. So where we get this from? Man, some of y'all who work in the passport office, please call. Some of y'all who work in foreign affairs, please call. Man, let us know why this happening, because this ain't just that. This is going on perhaps for decades. So this ain't no Brave Davis administration doing this. This is being done for administrations across the board for decades. But why? Because if that person is not a Bahamian, why should they be holding a passport that says Bahamas passport? Somebody help me out, please. I know some of y'all already got the answer, please call and help me out. Because I don't really know. All I know is I seen it and I know it happening. Did the demolition of shanty towns in Abaco discontinue? We had, I think, the mud and the pigeon pea cleared. Was it cleared down? I know some homes was going down. I don't think they cleared it down. I think Dorian cleared it down. But anyway, the mud, the pigeon peas, and then we had another area. Lord, what that one name? I forget. We had plenty shows on this thing, man. And the farm, I think it was. And we started to clear them things down. But did we discontinue? Or are they all flat now? And I always say Superman, Minister Clay Sweeten, was doing such a dandy job. Was he stopped from getting his job done? Are these shanty towns still there? And the last time they were touched was like 6 months ago. And if so, when we can touch them again? I remember there was a stay on a situation, but that was before we decided we can go around that and deal with the violation of the building code and the violation of some environmental deficiencies and that type of thing. So we had things on laws on the books to say why we can demolish these structures. And we went ahead and we did it. We break down a couple in Nassau, then we go on Abaco, then we went to Lutheran, started to break down some. But are we still doing that or did we stop? And if we did, why? Somebody got to know. We got people on these family islands who got family here and you're listening to me right now. Please, 326-825, call and let us know. You ain't got to be shy. Stand up for your country. Take a stand. For once, take a stand. What is the official opposition's stance on the PM's address to that migrant gathering? Ain't nobody could tell me the leader and members of the opposition Free National Movement are not aware of what happened. What say you know? What are you all saying? Y'all just sit by and be quiet hoping, they're in trouble now, we can get in because they vote for us. Are y'all going, do y'all have a stand on this? What is the F&M's view on the Abaco Haitian Pastors Association, etc., conference, and all the rest of that? What is the view of the F&M? What is the view of the DNA? I think they still exist. What is the view of the coalition? Well, I know for a fact that the coalition leader, Mr. Lincoln Bain, don't joke around when it comes to these kind of things. He's something like me. He's serious about clearing up this country when it comes to illegal migration. My thing is, let's just not allow them to work. Let's make sure we carry out the law that states anybody who hires an undocumented worker could face 2 years in prison. And I think they are fined up to $4,000 or $5,000. When are we going to put the first person in court for that? And this the immigration department now. Because I think you're all supposed to enforce the Immigration Act. Do we have any immigration officers out there? You're not shy? You're not scared? 326-8255. Oh, wrong number. Yeah, 326-8255. That's the number you need to call. If you're an immigration officer and you care about this country, you're not only wearing the uniform, you want to see a change, you want to make a difference. Call us and tell us. Tell us why we are not going to these job sites and putting these owners of these properties where these migrants are working in court and having them faced with what your Immigration Act say they're supposed to be faced with. Did you ever put one person in court based on that provision in the Act? Are you prepared to put one person in court based on that provision in our Immigration Act? Are you scared? We got a lot of sissies around here. They got on these uniforms. They're scared to do their job. And we got some who think, boy, if I do that, now I could be in trouble because so-and-so could do this and so-and-so could do that, and my career could be over and this and that. Look here. Take a stand. Take a stand. If you're good for anything, you ain't got to worry about no career because you could go there and work and make it even better than being an immigration officer or a police officer or defense force officer or a prison or whatever. If your area is being violated and they're allowing you to get your job done or you have hesitation based on victimization, and look, step up. You might as well don't even be wearing the uniform. And I can talk bad to you because I know plenty in the slack. Plenty on the take. You are trying to see how much money you all could make outside of your government salary. So you all ain't trying to stop nothing. You know that goes on in this country. And I don't know if it can ever stop, but we need to do something about it. Caller, you on Maritime Matters. Hello.
Good afternoon, Captain Bain. This is Captain Bain.
My brother, Captain Brain. Good afternoon to you, sir. I hope you rescue me because I just get not under the caller radio.
And it's my intention to try to rescue you. Well, you're putting some licks on those immigration officers, but really and truly, Cap, we got to put it where it's really supposed to fall, right? Because I know of incidences where foreigners were locked up by immigration officers while carrying out their duties, and they get on the phone call, come down, and they have to release the foreigners.
Yeah, what about the people who hiring? What about the people who hiring these migrants?
A big group of Chinese that, for example, got arrested, and a call came, says, let them go, right? And so we have to really look. We have to call a spade a spade. We have a lots of corruption in this little town.
Yeah, but let me stick a pin. Let me stick a pin because I remember when I was a defense force officer, I bought a Cuban fishing vessel from Kisal all the way to the 1 mile buoy off Coral Harbor base. And I was told at that point to release them at the 1 mile buoy. I'd release them. But you know what? I did my job. I don't blame them if they do their job and somebody tell them, okay, you don't do that, don't go no further. I can understand, but David, he ain't getting that far. Ain't none of them bringing in nobody or bringing in no property owner to say, oh, this property owner violated this section of the Immigration Act by hiring this undocumented worker. They got to be faced with jail time or paid a fine or whatever the magistrate say. But are they bringing in these people? Are they checking these people out?
I think for the most part, the immigration officers are doing what they supposed to do.
Oh, you got to be joking me. You got to be kidding me.
No.
You got to be kidding me. And I will charge one person for violating the Immigration Act when it comes to employing undocumented. Not one?
Well, I don't know whether or not they can have in directives or whatever. I did.
No, that's the law. You know, body could, directive could override the law. You know that, and I know that.
Yeah, but you have a country that's where you every 5 years you give the whole department to an individual called the minister.
Yeah, but that's fine. But I don't think I work in government for many years, and I don't think there's no minister in no area of government who tells somebody under that act, don't do this or don't do that, although the law says so. That don't happen.
Boy, hey, Cap.
That do not happen. I think ain't nobody can convince me otherwise, because I challenge. Let me tell you something. I remember when I was deputy port controller, those fellas who just do the ferry boat and even the taxi drivers, they would go to who's now the Madaprat, who's now the Governor General, right? They would go to her office, which she was the Deputy Prime Minister at the time, and then they'd go around and say, oh, these people, this Bain fella stopping us from making a living, he doing this, he doing that, and oh my goodness, what's his name under the FNM, the Deputy Prime Minister for all them years, who used to be in Customs Voice, who's Mr. Ingram's Deputy Prime Minister, Frank Watson. Many times now, I know Mr. Watson personally because I was one of his constituents, and he called me in my office, Captain Bain. No, he's called me Mr. Bain. I was I was still deputy port controller. Oh my God, so and so coming into me, and when I tell him what the law says, he said, "Don't worry about that, Cap. Leave that alone." Mr. Tennyson Wells called me to his office. A meeting going on in his conference room with all the group of ferry boat fellas, and he put question to me in front of them, and when I answered the question, he said, any of y'all have anything to say to Mr. Bain, because he's here, and all these things y'all saying, he said, he ain't so. And not a man move. But Mr. Wells told me, carry on, Mr. Bain, continue to do a good job. See, these ministers ain't gonna tell you to don't do your job based on the law. They ain't gonna do that. So I don't tell me, but the immigration officer scared to do. No, do your job and let them stop you. That's my position.
I don't disagree with you, and I think more people need to take that stand. But the reality is, in my opinion, I think we have to start with the people who's in charge of these various departments.
No, we got to start with those who are wearing the uniform and have an obligation by the act and are not even trying. That's where we got to start. They're the men on the ground. That's the fellas you're talking about. They ain't on the ground. They can fly as much as they like. But they cannot stop the fellow on the ground from doing his job.
Yeah, but the ship can't be rudderless.
The ship could be rudderless, and while the ship is rudderless, you get one or two people on the ship doing their part.
Need to be clear. The direction that the country wants to go in needs to be.
No, Captain Brain, we got things that are called laws. We got acts. We got regulations. So don't tell me they ain't clear, because it's clear as day.
Yeah. In my opinion, these laws, the government can make laws every day of the week. Every day.
No, but let's go with the laws that are already made. I haven't even talking about making laws. I'm talking about the laws that are already on the books.
Yeah, but that don't mean nothing.
That mean everything, because if we ain't got laws, we can't run no country.
It does not mean anything in this country, because we have laws that we break every day.
Yeah, you could break the law, but that don't mean if you have laws to enforce. If you have laws to enforce, right?
Yeah, but
if you break the law, that don't mean you can't enforce the law. I mean, I didn't learn when I went to the port department as deputy port director. I realized after I started reading that a lot of things we were not doing. I had to change things based on the law.
Check this out. We have a law. We have some simple laws, right? I was driving on Tony Williams Allen Highway today. I saw this large, big truck loaded with metal and garbage debris, and every time that truck moved, something fly off or some garbage debris fly off, or whatever the case may be. We have a law that says trucks are carrying loads supposed to be covered up. We don't enforce that.
Well, you saying we don't enforce it. If a police riding a motorbike see those things hopping up that truck, you don't think you can stop that truck and buck up?
No, man. No.
Yes. Well, okay. Let's put it this way. Let's put it this way. He could stop them and book them, right?
The police on the motorcycle. The only thing police on motorcycle do is funeral escort, wedding escort, this type of escort.
I can't let you get away with that, because you know that's not true. You know, and I know that's not true. Many people take precaution when they see a police on a motorbike or a police car while they drive it. Many people, they brace up. So don't tell me the police on the road don't make a difference, because they do.
I never said they don't make a difference.
But you said they don't do what they're supposed to do.
Enforcement. There's no enforcement.
Yes, there is. They're pulling people over all the time. What you talking about? Come on, man. Give the police that. You may have some police who don't do it. Man, most of those police be pulling people over. I'm not going to, you can't get away with that.
And then when they do have enforcement, when the police do their job, we have another system, another system, in my opinion, that's retarding the progress of everything called the court system, the judiciary.
Yeah, but that don't mean the police didn't do their job. See, what I'm saying to you is the people in uniform on the ground, I don't mind what happened after they don't do their job, you know. But if they sit back and don't do their job, talking about, oh, this ain't going nowhere, oh, it make no sense to do that, then why they get on the uniform?
Why? Okay.
Man, we got to get on them first. Do your job first. I ain't blaming the minister or the PS or the director of your area. I blaming you in uniform who's saying you know about some of these things and ain't addressing it. That's where we need to start.
Okay, I yield on that.
Thank you,
sir. I yield on that point.
Thank you very much.
Right? Now, I really wanted to chime in on this whole buoy situation in Exuma, these marine buoys.
Oh, my goodness, yes, man. I know you're a man who know the Exumas just probably almost as good as me.
Yeah, I just think that I think it's really an affront to the Bahamian people, because we really and truly we were not involved in this process. And in my opinion, that's another sale of the Bahamas. You know, Bahamians, I know for sure. There were Bahamians who have applied to put moorings in place in the past that were denied. And then there's also things like, from a safety perspective, will these mooring buoys have lights on them? Will they be included in any future maritime charts? How will they impact boating in the Exumas, where the Exumians traditionally run up and down both day and night? And those are the kind of things. And then, you know, this whole business of permission, who signed off on it? Again, we don't sign off on it.
No, we don't know who signed off on it. All we know is principle, approval is given in principle, and those people were advised to get authorization from the relevant agencies that are responsible. They were not given no permission to put no buoys down.
Well, Cap, who gave the approval in principle?
You have to get approval in principle before you start doing what you want to do if you invest.
Who would have given?
Doesn't matter whoever is authorized to give it. What you mean who?
We know how things work in this country.
Yeah, but approval have to be given from the office of the Prime Minister first, because they deal with lands in the country. And once they give the approval in principle, you then go to the relevant agencies to get all of the I's dotted and T's crossed and make sure they satisfy, including the local government.
So who walks this through the various entities to get their sign off? For example, who holds...
No. They got to go to the different... When you want your passport and you need to bring in certain things, and you got to go get them and bring them in. It's the same principle. If you want your boat registered with the port, right? And they tell you need to bring us insurance, you need to make sure the environment ain't been impacted, so bring us a EIA, go bring us that. You got to go get them things. Ain't nobody supposed to get them for you.
But Cap, somebody have to be driving that bus, eh?
You supposed to drive your bus to get your license.
So I want a license to play some buoys in throughout the Exuma chain.
Then you make application.
So I go to the office of the Prime Minister, or I go to the minister responsible for whatever that area, and I says, I'm looking to place these buoys.
Of course.
The minister says, yes, of course, and I understand, and I don't know if it's...
No, the minister don't say yes, of course.
We have a stake, or the government has a stake in it, or whatever the case. I'm not sure whether or not it's true, or whatever, whether or not, what percentage, or how does that work, and who's collecting this percentage, or whatever the case may be. But you go to the minister or the government and says, okay, I want to put this buoy in place. the government said, yes, I think it's a great idea. Permission is granted, but you have to get these things, you have to get these items, these bits and pieces of formality completed. Like,
no, but they don't say, but you're wrong. They don't say permission is granted. They don't say that.
But I don't know what they say. But all I'm saying is, you get this tacit approval.
You don't get no tacit approval.
So what do they get?
What they tell you is we receive your application, and you need to do these particular things. You got a list of things you got to check off, and then you can come back to us. So we don't have no problem with it as it stands, but you now need to go do these things and get back to us. That's what they tell you.
Okay. So now you don't do anything on this list, if provided this list even exists.
Oh yeah, the list exists, and they know the list. They just see. Let me tell you, our people is bluff goods. You know, if I get a letter in principle saying I could I don't have, if the minister say I don't have no issues with it, but you got to go do these things, I can show off that letter and say, oh, I got a letter from the minister. So people even in reading that letter thinking the minister give me approval, right? Because a lot of people who understand how the law really go. It ain't no license, it ain't no permit.
What would make you believe that the approval wasn't given, and this list do not exist?
The approval cannot be given by that entity. That's why I know. The approval cannot be given by that entity. And if you see all the correspondence that they actually had on the social media, you will see that there's nothing saying that approval was given. That entity, the approval has to be given. We used to have, when I was in the port, something called the Docks Committee, right? And that Docks Committee they had people, somebody from Lands and Survey, somebody from Ministry of Works, the port controller was the chairman, and that Docks Committee used to hear all applications, right? But you gotta get check off from all these various, and I don't think that happens no more from a Docks Committee perspective, based on my understanding, right? Everything now come under the environmental groupings, but they got to make sure you do some other, including the local government checking that off. That's part of it too. But see, none of that happened. These people just bypass all that, install the moorings, and then got caught. That's all it is.
That means that we, from an enforcement standpoint, have some work to do then.
No, enforcement standpoint, send out the stop and desist order. See, they were bluffing and they got caught. If nobody had said nothing, they would just go on with it. But anybody, you could put a car on the road without a license and drive it. You know, if the police catch you, you get back. But if they don't catch you, you go away with it. That's all it is.
Oh, so they did get a stop and desist order.
Yes, they got it almost immediately after it came to surface. You're not aware of that?
No, I was.
Yeah, that order came from the Deputy Prime Minister. Stop and desist. Because
Okay.
you know he's the MP for Exuma.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened already. They can't, and then after that happened, based on information I saw, after that happened, they come out and say, well, we don't get them there, we gotta let people use them for free. What kind of nonsense?
Well, don't forget now, this is silly season. You talk about the situation in Abaco and the like, this silly season, this all about votes, so don't be surprised when anything happens that's out of the ordinary, and that does not have an explanation.
But that's why we got to look at the procedures and what was done and what wasn't done and call it out. Votes can always be an issue when it comes to politics. That I don't even care about that. And that's why I could talk and I ain't got nothing to fear as people come in. No, I don't care about no votes. I don't care about, I a swing vote. I don't look for me to be on your side. You got to convince me to vote for you to be on your side. And then I make my decision. And sometimes I get in the booth and I change my mind. So I don't do politics.
Well, based on what you just said, Cap, I think the Exumians have a big role to play in what potentially would happen to these moorings and whatnot.
And they should, and that's why the local board have to approve it.
You made the call out to them to call. I would love to hear from some of the Exumians.
I'd like to hear from some of them too, but I don't know. They must. I don't know why they don't call.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're aware. I'm sure some of them. I sure some of them people from Exuma Keys on Exuma in general are listening to the show. I don't know why they don't call in and express their views as to these people who, even if from Exuma, based on what I see and understand, trying to come in and make up, and it's all about money. It's all about money, and it's just like let's say somebody were applying to get a jet ski license to operate in a land and sea park. They go to the local board, they go to the port authority, they get the approval, and then some other entity come in and they want to do the same. You see, part of this whole thing is this thing was not put out to tender. If the government is going to give authorization for somebody to get a contract to do something in a public area, I think it should be a matter of other people having equal opportunity or having an opportunity even to protest against it. And all of that is part of the procedures with local government, a part of the procedures with the port authority, and on all the rest of that. So that didn't happen. People didn't have an opportunity to protest. That's why they went ahead and tried to just take advantage of the situation and hope nobody say nothing, I guess.
Well, I think that's the reason why we don't have real local government in this country anyhow, because those type of things, giving the local populace an opportunity to voice their pleasure or displeasure is will invariably affect some of the decisions that have already made or that are being made that benefit the few. So I think it's deliberate that we don't have real local government involvement and participation in this country, and I say, like Dr. Aeneas, I think it's Dr. Aeneas who often called for local government to be even in New Providence to govern the things that we do here.
Oh, yes.
And so again, excellent show, and thank you for the opportunity to comment. Like I said, I'd love to hear from others, and I think, like you said, this is our country. We have to participate, and if we don't participate, then you don't have no means. So you shouldn't open your mouth when these things happen, because you're not willing to participate in any forum that affects what's going on around you. So again, I call on people near and far and people who listen to the show, call in and say what your point is. Participate in what's going on in your country.
I agree 1,000 times, my brother. Thank you so much for keeping the show alive. I love it when you call in, or when anybody call in, but especially you, because you got a lot of knowledge, and I like to trade knowledge on the show so people can understand you have different views on these things.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, Cam.
Thank you, man. Take it easy. You can call back anytime. We ain't finished licking this yet.
Indeed.
All right. Oh yeah, that's my dog, my good friend. 326-8255. That's the number to call, people. We're talking maritime. You are listening to Maritime Matters. At this point, we move to our first break. When we return, we will continue our maritime discussions. So just listen in. You do not want to miss this one.
At One-on-One Pharmacy, our friendly staff is ready to serve you. Visit us today for all your prescription and over-the-counter needs at our East Street South or Charles Saunders Highway locations. We're open Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and from 9 to 4 on Sundays. In a rush? Send your refill scripts online at oneononepharmacy.com or ask about our convenient pickup service. One-on-One Pharmacy, providing personal health care with people at heart. At Bahamas Maritime Connection Limited, we offer first-class maritime security services throughout the Bahamas and the wider Caribbean. As experts in maritime security, we specialize in production of ISPS assessments and plans, verification audits, certified familiarization training, and port security consultancy, just to name a few. Our services also include provision of a security force to maintain all required ISPS facility security compliance. For all your maritime security needs, visit us today in Nassau at our East Street South location or in Freeport in the Kipling Building. Call us at 392-3515 or follow us on all social media platforms. Bahamas Maritime Connection, your leader in maritime security. Let's help you make the connection.
Big fight in Bain Town. Somebody tripped Mary down, and everybody know Mary don't take no mess.
Sitting in the morning sun, I'll be sitting when the evening comes, watching the ships roll in, then I'll watch them roll away again. Yeah. I'm sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. You are listening to Maritime Matters. On this show, we talk maritime. Tonight, we are covering two major local topics in our country. The Exuma Keys seabed lease and installation of commercial buoys by a particular company. And I think we licked that one a little bit just now, but we got plenty more licking to do on that. So I want to entice and encourage those from the Exuma, those from other family islands, to just call in and let us know what are their views on this matter. The number to call is 326-8255. And we also got a situation where our Prime Minister addressed a conference in Abaco, known as the Abaco Haitian Pastors Association Conference. And our Prime Minister was in the building for over 2 hours. And it's concerning to a lot of Bahamians, because obviously, based on the reports coming in from that situation, it's being said that the Prime Minister have not sat in any Bahamian church in Abaco for even more than 1 hour, if at all. So why make an official visit with all the police in uniform and all the rest of that to address a congregation of Haitians, while we Bahamians, police officers, immigration officers, defense force officers, custom officers, are doing all we could do to ensure that migrants are not getting into our country illegally. And then we have a situation where it appears that our Prime Minister, Prime means, I forget what the term was when they say number one among equals or something to that effect. Somebody call and tell me, man. First among equals, that's what they used to say. Our first among equals that we elected seem to be supportive of a group of Haitians in a conference. And we know, if we've been in this country long enough, and if we pay enough attention, we know that these conferences and these pastors and these migrant churches and whatnot, they're all about assisting and aiding people from those countries to come in and get status in the Bahamas. And we have no problem with that, so long as it's done legally. We know that they assist a lot of illegal people, because when the people come in by boat, is that one got a church bus on the shoreline waiting to pick up these people and carry them into church communities, carry them in, assisting them in breaking our laws. So you nobody can tell me this. I work on the Fed Force long enough to know this. So when you see they having conferences, but I don't want you to think they just having praise and worship for those who were here legally and no, they got other issues going on that they're discussing too. And if they were just there to have praise and worship and looking out for the souls of the legal migrants in the country, why would our Prime Minister be there? What was the purpose of our first among equals attending such a conference? And I don't like that enough. If you all ain't a call, 326-8255, then that's your business. Right? But my question is, should our Prime Minister officially be supporting such a gathering? And my question is, where is the Free National Movement, the official opposition? What is their position on this? Do we have any FNMs out there? You don't like to call, talk to us? Call this one and tell us, what is your position on this situation? We have DNAs out there. We have Coalition of Independence out there. Do we have PLPs out there? Let us know if you support this. And I ain't trying to get political, you know. I calling it out. I don't like it. Many Bahamians don't like it. And then we want to know, are we still issuing passports to non-Bahamians? Because I've seen a passport that says passport of the Bahamas or Bahamas passport, and inside the thing it has a, somebody whose nationality is Haitian. And I thought that was a conflict. How could a Haitian be holding a Bahamian passport? And this was going on a long time. Can anybody help me to understand how that happens? 326-8255. What happened? You always be scared to call the show. Somebody got to know. Did the demolition of shanty towns in Abaco discontinue, or are they still demolishing? Where's Brother Craig? What's going on? I ain't hear nothing in the press for years now on these demolition stuff. Have they all stopped? Are they still going on? I didn't hear that there was any court order to stop and desist or stop and whatever we call that thing. No stay on it. So what's going on? Somebody call in and give us some answers. Even the shanty downs in Nassau. We saw Cool Acres come down. Well, I think they had a fire first, but they came down. And then All Saints, and then we just had another issue with All Saints. I think they were still doing coal in the bag there somewhere. And I saw my good friend and schoolmate Vaughn Miller, Minister Vaughn Miller, come on with all this fire. Like, we on top of this. What you on top of? You on top of the fact that they find some people in the bag they're doing coal? What about all these shanty downs all over the place, which you all know about? Well, you can get on top of them. Well, we can flam in this country. We are nothing but a bunch of flammers. We ain't serious about nothing. And as was indicated numerous times of late, excuse me, we are going to find out when we are the minority in this country that we should have taken a stand when we had the chance. We're going to fail our children and our grandchildren. Why? Because we just love being slack. And that goes to those in government. That goes to those in the official opposition. That goes to those in other oppositions. That's us. It's us who got to make this thing happen. It's us who got to defend this country from being taken over. It's us who got to defend this country from, I mean, right now, what our status is when it comes to our financial status. I think they say next year or so we'll be paying over $1 billion just to pay on the debt we owe. You know, just to be paying over $1 billion in debt in mortgage and loans, and we still borrow more money. Where are we? Where are we as Bahamians? We just accept all this until it get totally out of hand, and then what we can do? We can leave and go somewhere else? What are we going to tell our grandchildren? Boy, you're right, we really should do something with that, but you know how it is, eh? We just going to continue to be a bunch of slackers, eh? Let the country go. We don't care. Exuma key seabed lease. Now, we have a situation where some entity decided to take a go at making money from putting down buoys in the land and sea park. You know, the land and sea park is a vast area, you know. And it's a very busy area compared to the rest of the Bahamas. Because in the land and sea park, you got some of the most beautiful waters in this country. Excuse me. And not only Exuma Land and Sea Park, you got the keys of Ragged Island. You got Conception Island. You got Acklands and Crooked Island and Meguan and Bimini Chain, and these are all very beautiful, strikingly beautiful waters. But the Exuma Land and Sea Park happened to be the creme de la creme of areas where yachters like to go, because it's a vast area of scattered keys. Nobody's supposed to carry no fishery products on a commercial scale out of there. So again, we got the groupers dying from old age, the crawfish been dead from old age, and the conchs all over the place, and so it's a joy to go there and just hang out for a couple of days or even a couple of weeks, especially if you're in a nice spangadocious yacht, you know, with your friends and family and whoever. But what we wouldn't want you to be doing is dropping your hook all over the place. Dropping your hook means putting anchor on the seabed, and when you anchor tail, you drag in some of that seabed, and if the wind shift, it turns you around, so you drag in more of that seabed, and the thing is, we could put them, and hear this now, hear this. You see, I've been around for a little while. I am a captain who understands some of these things. Each vessel, once you drop anchor, you got what you call a turning radius or turning circle. And according to where the wind blow from, your boat moves around the turning circle. So you need space. Plus, while your boat moving around, sometimes your anchor moving around and tearing up things. So what they used to do in the past is they'll have an anchor buoy in place where they will have like 4 anchors tackled on the seabed, pulling against each other, and from the middle of that spot, they'll run a chain with an anchor, with a buoy on top. And they say, okay, the boat's going to attach to this buoy. And they ain't got to worry about the wind picking up and them dragging anchor and ending up on the shoreline. They ain't got to worry about that boat getting damaged because this tackle go hold, right? But they get a little more sophisticated these days. You know what they do it? They're not putting down those 4 anchor tackles or even 2 anchor tackles. They're drilling a hole in the seabed, and they drill that hole about 30 feet down into the seabed, and then they get a cylindrical weight, right, like something stainless steel solid, and they drop in that hole, and then they pack that hole with cement that's designed to go into that hole, and when it's sealed, it hard. So you get, instead of an anchor on the bottom, you get a hole in the seabed, so you ain't causing no more damage, just one hole. And then you get the weight, cylindrical metal piece, and then you pack that with cement, so you know where they're coming up because the cement over that hole in that in place. And then They got the chain running up to the top and a buoy on the chain. And I understand that's how they did these ones that are now in question as to who owned them. Not who owned them, we know who owned them. But why some of the locals in Exuma or people like me in Nassau couldn't get an opportunity to do. Because if you lease the seabed, that's another thing. These people ain't fool, you know. They lease the seabed first. See, you can put down a buoy without leasing the seabed. And you could get authorization for every buoy you put down, provided you meet all the criteria and all approvals, right? But if you lease the seabed, only you could put a buoy where that seabed is leased. People normally lease seabeds to build marinas. Because you can't say, oh, I want to put a couple docks here without leasing the seabed, because you need to have custodian of that seabed, and seabed lease costs way more than just putting a buoy. And once you lease that seabed, nobody else can have use to that, because the government leased that to you. If somebody else want to build a marina, then they go somewhere else and get their own seabed lease. But to lease couple hundred or couple thousand acres in a land and sea park, you ain't leasing no couple acres to do a marina. You're trying to take charge of the whole land and sea park to make sure nobody could come and compete with you, because that's your seabed. You understand what's going on now? That's your seabed. Nobody could even apply to put a buoy on that no more, because you got that covered. And you're exclusive. And you can charge whatever you want to charge. And there's no competition. You ain't going to worry about nobody else trying to come there and put a buoy where yours is, or next to yours, or further down the road, because you got the whole area leased out. That even is sound right there. 326 H255. Where are the Exumians? When are you going to call it? Where are the government officials that knows that the provisions were violated for these buoys to be in place? What is going on? Are they going to be told to move those buoys? Okay, they were told to cease and desist, which means stop what you're doing. But are they going to be told to uproot, to move those buoys because they didn't have no authorization to put them in the first place? Or are those buoys just going to remain there and they're going to try to find a way to say, okay, well, you don't have them there. We can see if we can get a local government to approve it. We can see if we can get a port department to approve it. We can see if we can get the environmental people to approve it. And then after all them approvals, you could still go on with it. No! They're supposed to be made to move them as far as I'm concerned. And don't put not even one in place until you get all the approvals in place that you're required to get to put down a buoy commercially in any place in the Bahamas. What about the people in Stanley Key and Black Point and Farmers Key? They're the three areas where you have natives living in the Exuma Keys are Stanley, Black Point, and Farmers Key. Nowhere else. Well, you may have one person or two people, but I talk about communities. Communities in the Exuma Keys, Stanley Key, Black Point, and Farmers Key. I've been up and down Exuma Keys for many, many years, and nobody can tell me what I know, right? And those three communities, if any entity should be given authorization to put down commercial buoys in the land and sea park, it should be coming from those communities. Because they're already restricted as to how much commercial jobs in those keys. Everybody want to fish for a living. You know, they got restaurants and they, well, Stanley Key more commercialized than Black White, which is more commercialized than Farmers Key. But if these people are given the opportunities to put down 30 buoys each, right? I got 30 buoys, you got 30 buoys, and the government should be able to say to them, look, we want you, we're looking to commercialize the land and sea park with buoys because we want to put a no anchorage zone in the land and sea park. No boat can anchor, otherwise they violate our law. They have to use a buoy, and we want your people in these communities to own the buoys. We want you to make application. We can give you up to 30 each, or up to 20 each, or up to 10 each. And you have to manage your 10 or your 20 or your 30, or you can get somebody to manage all of them and you paying them a little something out of it because they're managing it, but you's the one who reaping the money. We can help you with the technology to drill those holes and put those leads in there and pack them, and that's all you got to do. And anytime the buoy float off, you got to go put another buoy there. You could have a bunch of buoys in the shed. They'll all be numbered. They'll all be color-coded. So, those 3 small communities, and I say small because they are small compared to what we got in the mainlands, right? The main islands. They could be the custodians of, say, 1,000 buoys. And then I want you to know the land, see back and hold 1,000 buoys. I'm not just pulling that number out of the sky, right? Because you get from Ship Channel Key, well, the land and sea park started, I think, by just by Waxkey, eh? Anyway, wherever it start, and it go all the way down to, I think, Foul Key or one of them. You know how much keys and how much places boat want to stop and boats just be all over the place. Because I can remember, anyway, we need to go there. I can tell you, but the park warden was trying to get permission to put some buoys in Nassau Harbor, and the Port Authority board turned him down. But of course, he was an alcohol. But these people know the value of putting down these buoys. I remember I went to Hopetown in Abaco. And I went to see the lighthouse, because I was Deputy Port Control, and then the lighthouses came under us, eh? And I also went to inspect, I think, 1 or 2 boats in the area that were doing commercial trade, yeah. And when I went there, I was on a ferry boat, and I saw a whole heap of buoys. They scattered all over the place, and they numbered, and they color-coded. And I was like, why don't we do this in Nassau Harbor? Just have commercial buoys, because Nassau Harbor, you that area right off Montague, the fish ramp right now, and sometimes that's be loaded with yachts. And they're all dropping their hook, buoys out there for them. So we can have an Nasuvian, drill the hole, put the buoys in place, and collect on a daily basis for 10 buoys, and another Bahamian collect for another 10. And we can do it like I always do the jet skis, We can put a moratorium, but only the owner we want to come and apply. We don't want one person to have a company that owns 200 moorings. No, we want every family to have an opportunity. So let the owner or one person come in and apply for 10. Don't let a company come and apply for 200. We ain't want that. Give everybody a chance to make some of this couple dollars and manage your little operation, eh? Oh, has our time run out? What we got? 10 minutes left? Nobody want to call. 326-8255. That's the number to call. If you want in on this discussion, we're discussing Izomaki Sea by lease and the installation of those commercial buoys that were given shortly after it came to surface. Stop and desist order from the government because things were done but not in accordance with the procedures. Certain entities were not consulted that were put in place to make sure you consult them and get their approval before you could press on and actually install your buoy. But obviously this company decided they could just ignore all that and put the buoys in place anyhow. And obviously that ain't work because people start kicking up a fuss, and here it is, The order was issued, so the buoys are in place, but no dice. Can't use them. And we started out by asking a couple questions on those Exoma keys, seabed lease and commercial buoys that were installed. Talk a little bit about the procedure, and we said that we summed it up as though the approval or the procedures were not followed in this case, right? One of the questions people ask, should buoys be placed in the land? Of course buoys should be placed in the land sea park. Because if you don't have buoys, then those boats have to drop and go all over the place. We don't want that. We want the government to put out an order or some rules or some policies or some laws saying that no vessel or ship are allowed to anchor in this land and sea park. Just like I say, nobody should fish in the land and sea park, nobody should anchor in the land and sea park. Anybody wanting to stop in the land and sea park are required to use the commercial buoys that are available. And then, once that order is in place, the vessels ain't stop coming. Don't mind this talk from these mariners, but the boats don't come like how they used to, and this and that. We don't know if the boats is coming like they used to, but we know every day plenty boats in the land and sea park. And they're gonna need anchor because they don't stay in one spot. The land and sea park is so vast and so beautiful. You want a different spot every different day, right? Or maybe more than one spot in a day, because it's so many places where you can just go, and when you walk on the beach, the only footprints you see is yours. Because nobody was on that beach for weeks or months. So when you go there, the tide already washed away the old footprints and only yours there. And you can stay there long as you like. Because there's so many nice beaches in that land and sea park that nobody can bother you. If you got that one, they're going to get another one. And I've been in there many times, and I've been in there week after week, so I know the beauty of the Exoma land and sea park. So you nobody got to tell me nothing. But I think that it should be made to be enjoyed by those visiting our shores. And of course, if Bahamians, we got so much options and places, we don't need to go to the land and sea park. We go all over the place. Mind you, we should go if we get yachts and we taking a break for like a week or so. We go to the land and sea park, sometimes we go to Bimini chain, sometimes we go to Berry Island chain. Sometimes the Berry Islands have some nice waters too, eh? You want to go all the way up to maybe Abaco, stop on Sandy Point and come around Mars Island and just check those areas out. We need to start looking at our Bahamas from that perspective. I happen to know because I was on the Defense Force and I did it for free. I was even getting paid while I do it. But if you're Bahamian, you want at some point in your life to get on a yacht. It don't have to be a very expensive yacht, but a yacht, and see the Bahamas by sea. Because I can tell you it's breathtaking. And after being on the Defense Force for years on top of years, and I go inside there and say, boy, that's a pretty place. Hey, look at Conception Island Beach. Look at these waters in this ragged island chain. It's just breathtaking. So, Exoma Land and Sea Park, the buoys are there. We don't know if they're going to have to move them, but I'm glad they're there. I just hope something freaky happen, like the company that put them there decide, well, we'll sell them to people out of those three communities, Daniel Key, Black Point, and Farmers Key, since we already put them there. We don't want to move them, Mr. Government. Allow us to leave them there and just sell it to them, and they could collect the fees for the buoys, and the government will go ahead and put in place an order or policy or a law that no vessel is allowed to anchor in the land and sea park. And do the same thing for Highland Key. and Norman's Key, and all those keys that are outside of the Land and Sea Park. Because if anybody is going to benefit from our waters when it comes to Crown property, our seabed, it should be the natives. Some Bahamian native, not foreign entities coming in because they have a hotel or a resort here. They're going to put buoys in there that they charging money for. No, they get their seabed lease and deal with them marina. But when buoys are put in, let it be us. And that's what I say. Since y'all don't want to call, and y'all don't want to say nothing, I know some of y'all listening, and I know y'all hearing. I guess y'all think I do rowdy, but I ain't rowdy. I just like to call things out. Eh? So ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Our show has come to a close. Tonight we discussed the Exuma Land and the Exuma Keys seabed lease and installation of commercial buoys in the Land and Sea Park. Tonight we discussed the PM addressing the Abaco Haitian Pastors Association conference for over 2 hours based on those Kai Care videos. Nobody want to give their position on it? So we leave it alone. You have been listening to Maritime Matters. On this show, we talk maritime. I am your host, Captain Glenn Bain. I had one caller tonight, my good friend, Captain Herbert Brain. Very good call. Thank you very much for calling, Brother Brain. And our producer for tonight is Mr. Craig Gibson, the one and only sensation. Our sponsors for tonight were 101 Pharmacy and Island Nut Pharmacy. Our second sponsor, Bahamas Maritime Connection Limited. And I say good night to Auntie May all over again. That's my good old auntie up there in Freeport. Man, I talked to Auntie May for so long. I was tired, man, doing some renovations on this building, and I couldn't get to do my daily chat with Auntie May. And Auntie May, boy, look here. I called her this morning, but she was rolling me out, so I had to call her. Call me. She was so happy to know that I was okay. I said, but Auntie May, you know I got the show tonight. But that's my Auntie May, boy. She easy. So good night again, Auntie May. And to you, my dear listener, I thank you so much for continuing to tune in to Maritime Matters. I know you was a little quiet on me. You didn't want to give you a little 2-cent bit on what's going on with these topics. But we'll have new topics next week. So I thank you for continuing to listen and support Maritime Matters. That said, as always, Maritime Matters, tick, 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 out.